We are joined in the studio with Graham Cottington from the British Transport Police. Graham, welcome back to the show.
Oh, thanks, Daniel. Nice to be back, and thanks again for the invite. And hopefully the listeners can pick up a few points that we've got for them this evening on protecting their own property.
Now, I understand, Graham, that there has been an increase in cycle and car crime at many railway stations.
That's right, yeah. We are the British Transport Police, and we cover the railways, the national railways throughout the whole United Kingdom, and we are finding a rise in these kind of thefts. It may be something to do with the cost of petrol, maybe, I don't know, but cycle crime has been on the increase across the country. In particular in a lot of the railway stations, and if you look back at the figures that we had for 2009, 2008, 2009, 540,000 cycles were registered as stolen back in those 2 years, and the year after that, 2009 to 2010, a rise up to 750,000 cycles. Many of these, of course, can be prevented if the cycle has been secured properly. You know, if they buy the proper locks, and we'll talk about a little bit of locks a bit later on, but if they secure the bike properly, that'll prevent the person from trying to steal them.
How can these thefts be prevented? I suppose starting at home.
Yeah, well, at home is also a big problem, because people, you know, over 50% of cycles are stolen from outside the person's home. You know, that's quite incredible. So if you have got a shed, or you've got a secure garage or a lock-up, then hide them away so that people can't see them. You know, secure your bike. If it's inside the garage, inside a shed, again, you know, secure it to an immovable object. If you've got large racking, or you've got shelving or something, you can secure it to. Even a bolt in the floor, put something into the floor and secure it either to the wall or to the an object on the floor, and it will help keep the bike there. But it just prevents that person. They've got to make a noise if they take it, and if it's just leaning against the wall, they'll break in, break out, take the bike.
Graham, how can you protect your cycle when you are out and about?
Well, that's another big thing, Daniel. We spoke about being at home, and lots of bikes going at home, but obviously people are going to go out on them, and they're going to leave them. Figuratively, thieves don't want to be caught. They don't want to be seen. They want to get in somewhere as quick as possible and steal what they need to do. So if you leave your bike in a well-lit area and secure it, always lock the bike, even if you're only going to leave it for 1 minute. We get a lot of bikes, people leave it outside the station, walk into the booking office to check times, come out and they find their bike's gone. You know, fix your cycle to something solid, which is immovable. A recognised cycle shed, always very good. These great big lock frames. Lock it through the frame, not just the wheels. So put the wheels and the chain and the frame together, lock it up. And keep it as high as possible off the ground, because if it's on the ground, it means that they can be interfered with, and that's what it just makes it harder for the thief to attack it. Not only that, there are some very reputable D-locks on the market, and chain locks. They offer, of course, the highest level of security. Professional locks, there are numerous ones on the market, Abbas and different type of X Plus locks. These prevent the actual lock from being opened with a lock picking device, which a lot of these people have now. So if you've got a good, well-made, strong D-lock, that's the sort of thing to use.
What would be the best way of selecting a lock?
Well, the locks come in different categories, of course, and what we always, as a rule of thumb, we always say is that we recommend, if you've got just a normal tatty old bike and it's not that great a value, then you would pick a low-cost lock. If you've got a very, very expensive bike, then of course you're going to go for a much more expensive lock. So the more the bike costs, the more the lock you want to buy. A standard 1 to 4, for instance, levels of security lock is merely an immobiliser for a very low value bike. So these tend to be numbered chain locks, you know, a selection of numbers, a combination lock, if you like, and those you can buy for 10, 15, 20 pounds. So a low-level bike, low-level lock. Standard 5 to 9 are the middle risk areas of bike, and they can range anything from about 30 to 45 pounds. Again, you're now up in the ante slightly, so the better the bike, the stronger and the more sturdy the lock. If you've got a very, very high-risk area where cycles are going to be stolen quite often, and the bikes are quite valuable, then of course we're looking at a standard 10 to 15. These are very, very costly, but again, if you've got a bike that's I, for instance, have a cycle which is nearly £3,000.
Right.
So if you've got a bike of that value, you want to be spending perhaps £100, £150 on a good lock, and high risk areas you want to be spending somewhere in the region of about £50 to £7,500 for a really, really good standard lock.
Where are the safest areas to leave your cycle when you're out and about?
We grade areas, and generally for the public, a lot of public won't know what's a safe area and what is not a safe area. So what we do is we grade them to make it a little bit easier for them to see park mark signs. But a low to middle risk area, theft areas, tend to be sort of guarded parking areas or city or urban areas where there's lots of people, a locked cellar, or the bikes that's within view. These are the low middle risk areas. When you get to a high risk area, of course, you're looking at unguarded areas, so corner of dark areas of parks, crowded areas where people are milling around all the time and you don't really take notice of anybody. City centres, again, very busy, and when there's people out and about, people don't take notice of what's going on. So if you see people standing in a bike rack or a bike fence, they wouldn't take any notice of it. Communal cycle sheds, again, lots and lots of bikes there, lots of people come in and go in, so people don't really take much notice. So these are high risk theft areas. Communal cellars, where you don't actually know if someone's going to go down there to pick up a bike, or they're going down there just to have a look. And a lot of cycles are stolen to order, and a lot of cycles, the more expensive cycles, are parked up, and that's what they're looking for. And also hotel cellars, again, it's frequented by lots of different people, lots of just checking things out. They're always looking to see what's hot on the menu, what's down there, and that's the sort of place to go. So those are the sort of low to middle risk areas and the high risk areas, and we tend to watch the sort of the middle to high risk areas, because that's where we know we're going to pick up perhaps one of the thieves if they're doing work down there.
Can bikes be registered to prevent thefts?
Yeah, they can. There's numerous websites and numerous sites available for you to register your bike. Immobilise.com, it's a www.immobilise.com, is a national lost property database, and on that website you can place everything that you own. You can put mobile phones, cameras, you can put laptops, you can put PlayStations, games, all those kind of things. You can even put a caravan on there, motorbikes, quad bikes, cycles, everything goes on that website. And that national website is the one that we visit. If we find some property, if it's got any markings on it at all, we can go onto the website and check for serial numbers to see whether. So if we find a laptop, for instance, on a train, or a mobile phone, we can look at the serial number and go onto that website, and if we punch in that serial number, the owner's details will come up. So it's a very, very good website. It's not a police-owned website. It's a national lost property database. Right. One we're pushing for at the moment, of course, is the National Bike Register. Okay, and this is www.bikeregister, all one word, .com. www.bikeregister.com. By registering your cycle, your bike on that website, it reduces bike theft by over 75%. It's a very, very active website. It's police approved, and there are 3 levels that you can go onto that website and join. The bronze level is free of charge. Anyone can go on at bronze level. You go on, you enter your details, you put all your details on there. You can register yourself online, and with that you register, and they will send you 2 warning labels back to your home address. The silver membership is $14.95, and that registration is a permanent marking system, and that has all the benefits of the bronze award, but it has the kit supplied as well for $14.95. If you then want to go up to gold, that is £24.95. It's a one-off registration, and with that you'll get the marking and the data tag kit. You will also get all the benefits of the silver, plus the unique coded electronic tagging device which fits inside the frame. Now, a lot of police forces are now taking out these mobile dipping units, and they can actually scan the bike very much like a microchip for a pet. Yep. The cycles can be dipped and checked, and that reading will come up with the person's details. But that would cost you $24.95, and that's the gold award from www.bikeregister.com. Many police stations offer free cycling, of course, and cycling marking comes under a lot of police stations now do their own cycle tagging or marking. And if anyone has got any problems or needs any guidance, just go to your local police station, ask them to explain it, and most of them will be involved in the scheme in some way or another. But the bike register scheme is coming in, and it's spreading quite widely.
We are talking to Graham Cottington this evening from the British Transport Police. We catch up with Graham normally a couple of times a year, and this time we're talking all about cycle theft and car crime here at BRFM.